Good morning from the Garden of Neuro Institute. This is Lisa Tomey Zonneveld, the Poetry Book Club. With the Garden of Neuro Institute, we envision a world where all women are seen and heard. Our community practices deliberate conversations, sociocratic decision-making, and collective projects for the benefit of all engaged members. We share wisdom through book clubs, kitchen table talks, free and paid courses, and collaborative work. Our simple rules are respect all the spaces, be curious, ask questions, support women's agency, and be open to life's infinite possibilities. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad to see everybody here today. We were talking about good news, but I'd like to get it recorded. So if we could go around the room, introduce yourself and give us a piece of good news. And I'm going to start right back with Nolcha. Tell us about Elvis.
You want to tell me? Okay. So I'll start with, okay, so I'm Nolcha Fox. I am the current poet laureate for the garden. I'm also doing a poetry challenge right now that's going from October through the end of December. Well, that should be a new anthology unless I change my mind and put it on Medium. We haven't decided that yet. And I do have a book coming out hopefully in the next week or two. It's called My Pelvis Wants to Be Elvis. I also have a couple, I think 3 books with you, don't I, Nancy? To be published for the Garden of Neuro. Some of them maybe by the end of this year, kind of depends, I guess, on Santa Claus, right?
Thank you. Cheryl.
Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl, and I'm just really here to celebrate Zan. Kind of been celebrating Zan since the release of this great book of hers, Encore. But I'm working on actually 2 books. Our third book, My Sister and I, and then I'm gonna release my own work of like maybe 6 months after that. So I've really been working on like 2 books at once. So I'm kind of like I'm I'm all written out at this point, I think. So I'm kind of needing a little bit of a break only because that's all I've been doing is writing.
Wonderful. Best to you in that. I can't wait to come out.
Thank you.
Nancy.
Hello, Nancy Arvizu out in Scottsdale, Arizona. Super excited for this book, Zan, another home run. Yay. And also excited for the anthology that we've been putting together in the garden, A Safe and Brave Space. The work that we've received is amazing. And I know it's going to be another beautiful book, our third one of doing this. It's pretty amazing. I love the collaborative projects that we get to do. And we have a lot of other noodles in the pot for books, like Nell just said, 3 of hers. My goal next year is 25 books. The Garden of Neuro Publishing wants to publish 25 books, and we have 17 already in the hopper. So we're on that, or I think no problem hitting that goal. And just excited about all the growth we're seeing and all the wonderful women that are coming into the space and what they're bringing into it. So it's just such a neat place to be. And this is always a good way to start my day off. So thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. Annette.
Yeah, my name is Annette Brettel. I come from Michigan, Wyandotte, Michigan, and I've been writing most of my life, but not steadily. And then Lisa held a poetry workshop, I think in January, might have been February or March, but I'm pretty sure it was right at the beginning of my membership. And all of a sudden I found a new world, and I'm hoping to get published by Garden of Neuro next year, my first book. And I'm finishing up a Bible study workbook that I'm hoping to get published by a more Christian publisher. Nancy has assured me she's going to help me find that publisher. And so I'm really excited about both books, and hopefully they'll go to print next year.
Wonderful. That's great news. Jill?
Hi, I am here, as Cheryl said, to celebrate Zan and her wonderful book, Encore. And something hopeful would be I'm working on a second book. It looks like it's going to be more of a chat book. It's with a very dear friend from India, and it's called Two Minds, One Heart. So I hope to have that out in 2024. No idea when, and hopefully it'll be with Lisa.
You got
And
it.
it's great to see so many beautiful smiling faces this morning. Most I know, some are new. I'm thrilled. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Susan?
So much to celebrate. We just finished well, first of all, yes, let's celebrate Zan, because Zan is one of the most prolific poets that I think I've ever seen in terms of writing and publishing. And I don't know how you do it and manage your life, but what an amazing, amazing story that you share, and inspiration for all of us. Thank you so much. We just finished a retreat here. We had 6 Garden Sisters here for an extended weekend. Nancy was here, and it was fabulous. We are planning to do it again next year and triple the attendance. We're also we're announcing all kinds of things. So my comedy publication on Medium, called Mudium, is now a boosting publication, which means if you write humor, there's a chance that you might be boosted, which means extra eyes and extra potential revenue on your work for comedy writing and humor writing. I entered a humor writing contest, the Irma Bombeck humor writing contest. I'm hoping to win that. We'll see what happens. They're going to announce that in November. It's a significant book deal that comes out of it. Then we're planning, again, Mudium is hosting with Medium a retreat, a writer's retreat, and this is an extended writer's retreat at the end of October next year, to be hosted for up to 250 people to attend at the Omega Institute for Holistic Studies, that's in Rhinebeck, New York. And that will be at this fabulous campus, and that will be a weekend of writing, and it's called the Writers Write to Read Retreat. So there will be tracks there. There will be poetry tracks. There will be fiction tracks. There will be memoir tracks. There'll be comedy and humor tracks. There will be an honorarium for people who lead particular tracks. All of the details of that will be unveiled as we go forward. Right now, we're working on getting the information printed in the Omega catalog that goes out to everyone and then gets mailed to them in the website. And you can see that at eomega.org is it's huge campus. So this is a significant thing for Mudium and for the garden. I'm also celebrating my birthday coming up November 6th. I'm going to take a week off and go to Boston and spend a week celebrating my birthday week with my son in Boston. So that's all my celebrations. I'm so happy to be here, be able to be here. Thank you so much. Oh, one more thing I'm celebrating. I got a scholarship for my master's program. Yeah, I'm really excited. So my master's is in organizational management and leadership. And I just they just deposited the money in my bank account, so I'm a happy camper.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Congratulations. My announcement, I guess, is coming up probably in November, first part of December. Prolific Pulse Press is putting in a special anthology for the authors of Prolific Pulse Press. So you're going to get to see some of the best author work coming out. So I'm really excited about that. And without any further delay, we're going to introduce Zan, who doesn't really need an introduction because we all know this wonderful poet. Zan has written many books, and I've read them all, I think. The first one that I became familiar with Zan on was Poetic Forecast. See, I got it right, Zan. You said say Poetic Justice. But Poetic Forecast. And that we met each other doing an interview for that book. And then from then on, we've become close friends. And so here we are into the second published book together as our publisher. And it's been such an honor and a thrill. Actually, I correct that, it's the third book because I forgot about the journal. So we did After the Rainbow, Golden Poems. And then the What Matters journal, which is excellent. I'm going to be doing a class with this in January. And then the one we're celebrating today, Encore. So I would like to thank you, Zan, for writing all these wonderful, prolific books and making us all think about things in life and also find some humor in life as well. And certainly touching and squeezing all of our hearts. So we celebrate you as a poet. We celebrate you as a sister in the garden. We celebrate you as a friend and definitely a celebrated poet. So Zan, how's it been for you since you have published this last book?
Man, first of all, I can hardly find words to say how happy I am to be here with you in the garden. This really is a safe and brave space. Happy to be here, happy to stand with you. I'm so proud of everything you shared that you're celebrating. And the fact that you're celebrating little old me, how awesome is that? It's been great, Lisa, working with you from the beginning, from when you interviewed me after I published Poetic Forecast. You steered me in a direction that truly changed the trajectory of my life. I started writing and submitting and writing and submitting, and here I am with 4 personal publications. I'm kind of in awe of myself. I didn't plan to do all of this, but you know, God had a plan. So I'm here, I'm happy, and I'm excited to celebrate. Annette promised some weight. What did you say, Annette? Some weighty lightness and brightness. So let me see if I can bring some lightness and brightness to this space. I'm celebrating the fact that I got my submissions in to a safe and brave space anthology. I was stressing. I was, you know, after the book, I had a couple trips. I've been traveling. It's been hectic. I've been celebrating. I've had events here. I've been quite busy, but now I can breathe. I've been waiting to exhale. So with me right now, let's all take a deep breath and exhale. I needed that. Hi, Susanna. Didn't get to say hi to you. Thanks for coming. Lisa is a godsend, as you all know. When I decided to publish my journal, the What Matters journal, my plan was to do it all myself. I was going to publish through Kindle Publishing, but I'm technically challenged. So when you're technically challenged, who do you call? Lisa. I called Lisa, and she helped me, and she published the What Matters journal. That journal had been on my heart for, I'd say, a year, 2 years. And it was inspired by my poem, What Matters, my pushcart nominated poem, What Matters. I wanted to put a journal out into the world that would help people with organization, gratitude, self-care, reflection. I wanted people to have a guide. It's a weekly guide, and it has prompts, it has quotes, it has some beautiful, beautiful, I'm just gonna hold up the page. Pratibha's not here, but it has some amazing mindfulness art that was submitted by Pratibha Savani and Preeti Mystery from the United Kingdom. Thank you, Pratibha. We miss you here today. But each month, at the end of each month, I've got sections in there for people to reflect on what has happened for them over that month. I also have a special feature in here that I love. I love benches. I don't know if any of you love benches as much as I do, but it's a metaphor for being present for someone. The bench is sitting there waiting to help, compassion. And so whenever I travel, I take pictures of benches. At home, I take pictures of benches. And so Lisa was able to place benches in my book. I'll just show you the one at the beginning, which is this wonderful bench that I took a picture of in Hawaii. And it's turquoise. I love turquoise. But there's a bench at the end of each month for people to say that they were a bench for someone. I was a bench for this person, and this is how it felt. So-and-so was a bench for me, and this is how it felt. Reflection. It's all positive. It's about compassion. So the What Matters Journal is available, and I'm holding up my proof copy, but Lisa had the final copy, and I'm so excited about this publication, and I look forward to the workshops that Lisa talked about that will be happening in the garden. Thank you for that. Okay, Encore. Whew. This one is here by popular demand. This one's for you. Thank you to the audience. Thank you to my readers. Thank you to my full community, my global community of support for encouraging me, nudging me. And I've been writing, as Susan said, prolifically because I was writing a lot to submit poems for anthologies. And a lot of the poems in this book, in Cheryl's words, make their encore appearance in this book. Cheryl Jackson, our celebrated poet, wrote an amazing foreword for this book. And I tell you, when I received her beautiful foreword, it did make me stand taller. I'm like, yes, I knew she was the one. I woke up one morning and I said, ooh, I didn't say it. God said it. Ask Cheryl to write your foreword. And she said yes, and she did an amazing job. Another great poet, Safraz Ahmed from the United Kingdom, wrote the back cover blurb. He hit it out the park. These poets just, ooh, talk about celebrating me. And then I do have to give a shout out to my daughter, Kelly Jackson. She designed the cover. Well, first of all, I have to tell you that the title, my working title all year for this book was going to be Long-Winded, because I have a lot of long poems in there. But I decided on Encore, which I like better. And I had a different cover in mind. It was a beautiful squash blossom flower, a picture that I took in Greece this summer. But when I gave it to Kelly, when she read the foreword, when she read the description, she came up with this beautiful cover. And I think it's perfect for the book. Anyway, I want to share, if it's okay now, Lisa, do you want me to share a couple poems so we can have time? I really want to hear your questions.
Please do.
Okay, I've got a poem. It's a long one that I'll start with. And it is titled Soaring Intently. And I wasn't going to share this one, but I decided to share it because we are a group of garden sisters celebrating each other. And this poem appears as the dedication page in Voices of the 21st Century, Women Transforming the World. And this is a collaborative book by the Women Speakers Association, an organization that I joined in 2020. This poem I will share to celebrate all the women around the world. Together we soar, sister to sister. We stumble, we recover, we rise. Hand in hand, we are heartened. Arms locked, shoulders down. Chins up, voices unmuted. We take our time, step by intentional step. We oversee our destiny. We take charge. Minds opened, bodies healed. Relations mended, fears conquered. Outlooks brightened, selves loved. Goals achieved, careers changed. Finances tended, hope restored. Grief consoled, faith deepened. Courage expanded, wisdom gained. We are butterflies in flight. We delight in our freedom, freedom born of trials and thrills. From our favorite spaces around the globe, transformations flourish, spontaneous and deliberate. We are authentic, unscrambled, our puzzle pieces properly placed, wounds healed, internal fires ignited. We are whole and wholesome. Watch us sparkle with eyes transfixed on that beacon of light, beacon of goodwill ahead. There's no looking back except to evolve. We know better. Now, watch us do better. Watch us ascend purposely. Watch us bolster our communities. Watch us uplift the children. Watch us love unconditionally. Watch us transform the world. This poem, it's long, it takes my breath away. I get excited when I read it. This I dedicate to you and the women of Voices of the 21st Century. The next poem that I can't even find,
Oh, so while you're looking for it, I just have to say, I feel like the little kid with a bedtime story. And I want, like, read it again, read it again.
It does take my breath away. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like it. And I lost it again. I'm trying to get to, it's gonna come. Anybody else want to say anything while it's acting up? It's weird.
What's the name of the poem you're looking for? I might be able to help you.
I've got it on, let's see. It's a short one to give me a break. Romantic Intention.
It's number 2 in the book.
Okay. See,
Page
now
4.
I have to put my glasses on. I was trying to read it with big font, but now I've got to do it the old-fashioned way, right? So I'll tell you about Encore for those who may not have it yet. When Lisa asked, this was when we were working on What Matters, the journal. She said, hey, what are you doing? When are you going to publish your next book? So I got to tell you, Lisa is dangerous. I like to say Lisa and I could get in some good trouble.
I bet. Yeah, I bet.
The late Congressman John Lewis. Okay, I found it, Lisa. So when she asked what was I working on, and perhaps September, we picked a date. September is my birthday month. So we picked the month of September to publish this book, and I pulled my poems out. There are 99 new poems in there, many of which appear in anthologies, garden anthologies. The Talk, I've got a poem from The Talk in this book. So when I started breaking, sorting through the poems and choosing which ones to include, I started off with romantic poems. And this book is filled with a lot of aloha. So here we go, romantic intention. 4 sparkly eyes fixed on the setting sun. We are one, a romantic spectacle of hopeful intents. We move as one, hand in hand. We inhale as one, every breath rife with twilight air. Blissful moments of romantic intention, sealed by golden promises. Our tender embrace reeks of gardenia and tranquility. Aloha. Short and sweet. So that one I wrote in Hawaii a couple years ago, thinking about a walk that my husband and I took. So that was that one. The next one is it's a long-winded one, but it's important for this time that we're in. It's titled, We Train for This. This poem was written after yet another mass shooting. And the spokesperson for the public safety officer for the hospital kept saying, we train for this. And it kept echoing in my mind, we train for this. So I wrote this poem, We Train for This. We train for this, the spokesman said, more than once, assuredly. I've actually heard it more than I cared to after more mass shootings, city after city, state after state, mass shootings throughout our country, the United States. As our first responders train for this, why don't the rest of us train for kindness, train for reverent life, train for helping those whose mental health screams for help, train to act before hatred strikes, train to restore hope where hope is void, train for selflessness, train to gladly serve all people, train for our planet's endurance, train to restore humanity. Let's start training today. Thank you. I'm going to stop. I've got more poems. If you want to hear more, I'll share. But why don't I stop and give you a chance to indulge me with your questions?
Well, I don't actually have a question right now, but I did have a statement and I kind of wanted to share it with all the ladies here. My sister and I, we were always talk. We talk daily, couple times a day. And so Laura said, well, I finally finished reading Zan's book. And she said, and I loved it. She said, I absolutely loved it. She said, as a woman, it really spoke to me. And I smiled because I really try very hard not to, as her older sister, be influential in what she insists that she read this or that she supports stuff. So the fact that she read it because she wanted to read it and then she really liked it, I just wanted to just tell Zan again how much joy she brings to any space. And it's a welcome joy. And so if you ever question whether or not this is what you should be doing, I think you should know that this is definitely what you probably ought to be doing.
I can't stop doing it with people like you surrounding me and encouraging me. I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and please share my gratitude with Laris. It means the world to me to hear her feedback, woman to woman, poet to poet. Wow.
Right, because you know we can be brutal with each other as
Yeah.
writers, not just women, but as other writers. I've not seen such cruelty as I've seen with writers, other writers. So when you kind of get another writer that's a woman in your camp, that's a big deal.
It's a big deal. I don't take it for granted. Thank you, Cheryl.
Does anybody else have some questions? Annette?
Yeah, I was wondering, I was hoping to do it this month to get your journal. I was really impressed with it when I reviewed it on Amazon. And I was really impressed with your poems too. And I was thinking, I wonder if you have ever written a poem about child rearing or grandchildren relationships with a grandmom, anything to do with children.
Annette, thanks for that question. You just led me to a poem that I thought about sharing, but I didn't, so I'm going to share it. And yes, I write in my earlier collection, in my first one, I've got a lot of family poems, and I've got poems that I wrote for my children at graduation. I've got poems in the last book about children. I've got a poem, a powerful poem in the Talk anthology about my talk with Jaron, 1997. Jaron is my son. And as you know, that book was about the difficult conversations that families of color have to have with their children about safety in the presence of the police. Unfortunate conversations, but necessary. So there's a powerful one. I want to put a plug in for the Talk, because I think every family should have that book in its library. But I'm going to share a lighter and brighter poem, which was written just this summer. And Lisa, you probably could get to it faster than I can. My grands. It's the one about my grands. Where the heck is it? Just give me a moment. It's coming.
Page 47.
Hey, thank you, Lisa. She's so amazing. See, I'm full of adrenaline right now, so I can't find stuff. You got me all fired up. So this one's called My Grands. I adore the patter of 10 little feet all over my house. They bolt up the stairs and down again on repeat. 5 grands playing hide and seek, hushed laughter as I try to sleep. My heart could not be fuller, neither could their bellies. Early breakfast with fruit, innocent fun, their main pursuit. Low and high-pitched tones, boys and girls, toys and curls. Fresh snowfall awaits. What will they create? They'll soon bolt outdoors after pretending to do chores. Happy tears fall. I love it all. Topaz twins, garnet boy, sapphire girl, citrine boy. A ring for every finger. Precious memories linger. 4 little feet moved to Seattle. 6 now living in Arkansas. What's a grandmother to do? My bags are packed. So that was part of my travel. I've been trying to see my grandchildren. There are my twins, Kyla and Kylie. And I don't know if I can say this, Lisa. May I share that these two girls, they're our miracle twins, born far too early, and they are thriving. The power of prayer. I have a poem about them in After the Rainbow, and these girls are very talented, and I am submitting a piece of art from each one to the next Safe and Brave Space anthology. So thanks for that question. Don't ever ask a grandmother about grandchildren.
Does anybody else have a
Will
question?
you be my grandma? Of course. Sure.
That's cute.
I like to tell
Yeah,
my
I'm gonna hit
friends,
you up.
don't talk to me. I might write a poem about it.
That's right. It's what they say, what writers say, you know, be careful, you'll end up in my next book.
That's right. That's right. Annette has a question.
Net?
Yes. Did you write any kind of I know the one in the talk is kind of like a ballad because it goes on in a conversational way.
Right.
But did you write any ballads about life, about some other direction in life?
I've got a lot of long poems. I don't know that I'd call them ballads, but can you think of anything offhand, Lisa?
I know I know you do actually have something in here, but of course nothing's coming to my brain right now.
There's a long one. May her words speak for me. That's a tribute to other poets, African American and African poets. It's long.
Why don't you read that one, Zan?
I'm looking
Beautiful
at that one
poem.
right now.
Okay.
Must be meant to read then.
All right. I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna try to find it up here because it's long. It's here it is. Ooh, I got lucky this time. Her words speak for me. When Phyllis Wheatley penned religious and moral expressions, she spoke for me. When she defended her publications triumphantly and unprecedented, she spoke for me. When she fearlessly unleashed great vulnerability, she spoke for me. When Maya Angelou exclaimed the joy in her feet and the grace of her style, she spoke for me. When she shared gifts from her ancestors, she spoke for me. When she asked us to know and do better, she spoke for me. When Nikki Giovanni claimed that pyramid, she spoke for me. When she adoringly honored her mother and encouraged our daughters to dream, she spoke for me. When she demands a citizen's right and responsibility to vote, she speaks for me. When Tracy K. Smith ponders the intended purpose of our souls, she speaks for me. When she imagined the emotions of Einstein's mother, she spoke for me. When she proclaims the painful truth of our nation's declaration, she speaks for me. When Emi Mahmoud slams with love and conviction, she speaks for me. When she moves through sorrow, using the power of her words, she speaks for me. When she lauds her mama's bold resilience, she speaks for me. When Amanda Gorman climbs that hill, she speaks for me. When she declares victory over speech hurdles, she speaks for me. When she exhibits excellence and distinction, she speaks for me. When Elizabeth Ogamodede climbs that ladder to the top, she speaks for me. When she shares sound lessons from her Nigerian grandmother, she speaks for me. When she expresses her love for literature, she speaks for me. May future generations speak for me. May they walk our well-worn path. Their way is clear, illuminated by our legendary footprints. May brilliance travel in giant leaps over the tongues of not yet born African American girls as they speak for me. I expect lessons learned, a less arduous journey. I expect our voices to resonate far into the future. I expect reflections of my complexion. I expect excellence and inspiration whenever she speaks for me. Thank you. Whew, that one's a mouthful. That one is in an anthology. Well, no, it's more of an academic book that was edited by Dr. Shalini Yagdav of India. Very proud. I wrote an essay to accompany that poem.
Very powerful. And I love the way you read it too.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. Thanks. Oh, Lisa, you're on mute.
What is the book that poem is in, where you did the essay as well?
Thanks for asking. I was thinking, I gotta give me a minute to find it, but Lisa, go ahead while I look it up.
I was seeing if anybody else had any questions or special requests. Jill's got her hand up.
Dan, I think the book is Across the Seas by Shalini.
No, it's her other one. It is titled Contemporary African Women Writers.
Thank you.
Contemporary African, but her other book is outstanding too, Jill. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
I'm loving your comments and questions. Thanks.
Anybody else? All right. Well, we still have time. If you'd like to read us some more poetry, I would love it. Or if you have any questions for us, Zan.
Well, I want to ask, I don't know how many people have the book. If you have it, would you hold it up and maybe can anyone do a screenshot, please? I can't on my desktop.
See if I can. Somebody do it. I can't, I'm not ambidextrous.
Okay. Hold on. I'll get it.
Okay. Thanks, Nancy.
Here.
I just think this, are you done? Did you get your? This is so great.
Hold on.
So great. I kind of want to go back and say, your poem that we trained for this.
Yes.
It's like, I need to spend my days being artsy and happy. And so listening to poetry is spectacular. And then there's the whole technology issue of what can each person do and what do they, and, but when you started with, we trained for this, my brain was just like life in general and everything. And then a line or two, and then you brought me down, because you brought me into like the reality of that word with the sadness, the world, one of those what's going on thing, which we all have to face at the proper place and the proper time. And it took me back to like, that clicks my brain. And then now I want to see it in writing. I want to see how it lines up, but and it's all wonderful. I love it. Thank you. I want to go back to the one before where I was the 4-year-old saying, read it again, it's bedtime story.
Thank you, Susanna. That one, because in the last couple of years, I turned the news off, the TV off, because Well, you know, and so I had to write it just to purge.
No, it's also a part of a bigger picture of prejudice and our world and life in general.
Mm-hmm.
And as a white woman,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a woman, but man, I'm white. But as a human being on the planet, I am an eczema person. I am a dark-skinned person. I'm a person who really believes in equal rights in so many ways. And if you are white and men and whatever, like they don't even have to face it in most, the more rich, the more money you have, the less you ever have to face anything about real life.
Yes.
And at the same time, every human being has their own struggles and things that they have to deal with personally. But to be trained to be a wonderful human when you start with levels of, well, nobody ever taught me how to open a bank account. Right. Anyway, so it is important for this stuff to be said in all situations, and for people to spend time listening. And the whole thing about like not looking at the news and looking at it. And anyway, thank you for this glorious conversation today.
Thank you for your wonderful feedback. I appreciate it.
Van, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What do you do in terms like when you're writing? Just for like, I don't want to say a fresh perspective, but maybe just even a perspective of, say, just what promotes your writing? Just as just living in general, what influences your poems? Because sometimes I get really dry, and I have to. You were saying before about kind of unplugging, stepping away from the TV.
Right.
You know, I'm an avid physical. I exercise a lot, but that's not enough. You know, so it's just I just have moments or periods of dryness in writing, and I'm wondering if that's just because I've got so many different projects going on that maybe is inhibiting me from just writing freely. I'm not really sure what it is at this point, but what do you do to kind of stave off that dry spell? How do you keep writing?
Well, I'm blessed to say that I haven't had a dry spell. I hope I don't, because everything sparks my writing. And I look for goodness. That's who I am. That's how I live. And even when I'm talking about something that's painful, I try to present it in a positive way. I write about any and everything all the time. I might not write a full poem. I might write pieces and phrases. And when I'm reading, I'm writing. I'm inspired by anything I read. And you beautiful poets you inspire me to write. It's constant. I feel like I've got passion for two things: family and poetry. Family, friends, poetry. That's three. If I'm not spending time with family and friends, I'm writing or reading. And that's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. I can't turn it off. So it's a good problem to have. Jill, you're on mute.
Thank you. Can you read Move On, Miss Simone?
Oh my gosh. Are you reading my mind, Jill?
No. We're sisters, right?
Yes, I actually had that queued up to read first, but I woke up this morning and wanted to read Soaring Intently. So I will share Read on Miss Simone, which was written for an anthology by Stephen Lester Carr. Some of you might recognize that name. He passed away 2 years ago, but he did a lot of beautiful anthologies. And this one was titled Movement, Our Bodies in Action or Our Bodies in Motion. And I wrote this one about the late, great Miss Nina Simone. Move on, Ms. Simone. Nina Simone would gallantly glide across the stage, forging a seismic shift in perception of what was beautiful. She opened her mouth and belted out our anthem, young, gifted, and Black. Those moving words lifted the ego of a people, my people. She transformed a gloomy stigma into immense pride. She sashayed toward her piano with purposeful intent. Her dance revealed a story, a message of sorts. The subtle sway of her head and neck portrayed undeniable sophistication. Her poise, an understatement. Her song, a statement. Her hands wed the keys, a match made in heaven. When she left the piano, her stride was fierce. Her manner and movement could pierce. Her melodies had a movement of their own. The civil rights movement anthem tops her musical throne. Now in heaven, Miss Simone walks the streets of gold. May her graceful movements forever be told. Her grace was sufficient. Move on, Ms. Simone. I wrote that poem. Thanks, Jill, for having me read that. I wrote that poem after watching a documentary on Netflix about it wasn't Motown, but these were African-American artists, and the title escapes me. But this was a concert that happened at the same time Woodstock happened. And it was in Central Park, and it was filmed, but it never received funding. It never received funding to be promoted and published and advertised like Woodstock, because it was about Black artists. I'm gonna find the name of that documentary, because if you haven't seen it, you need to see it. And after watching Nina Simone walk across the stage and, play that piano, I still see her movements and her head and her neck. She's amazing. She was amazing. And her music is amazing too. Thanks, Jill.
I guess you really take to your writing and to your desk like Nina Simone took to her piano,
Now that's a
producing
compliment.
beautiful, beautiful melodies with poems.
Thank you.
I believe that was the Summer of Soul documentary.
Summer of Soul. Thank you, Cheryl.
Yeah.
Summer of Soul. Is it on Netflix?
It was on Netflix. I'm not sure, but I remember that because I think Questlove actually
Questlove. Yes.
did
Summer of
that.
Soul.
Yeah, Summer of Soul was excellent, excellent.
And the irony, I'll share one more little piece of trivia. When I submitted the poem, Stephen Carr wrote back like instantly, and he said, accepted. I love Nina Simone. And then I got like 10 minutes later, I got another email from him that said, I love this so much that he shared a story with me about when he first heard her music. And the song that touched him and made him a forever fan was Mississippi Goddamn. Cheryl, you probably know that's and
Yeah, she was my dad's favorite. So I absolutely love
I understand why. And he also said, I'm gonna put a picture of her with your poem in the anthology because I want people to see who she is. So my tribute to Nina.
Thank you. Thank you, Zan. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out today. This has been wonderful.
Wonderful.
And I will have Annette has one more question, and we're going to wrap it up.
Okay.
Annette?
Yeah, Zan, I'm so enthused by your way of writing long-winded poems. Can you possibly give us a workshop later on about
Whoa.
how to write long-winded and when to know how to stop the long wind?
Wow. Put me on the spot. I guess the answer has to be yes.
She means that in such a very positive way.
That's awesome. Okay. I
I
don't,
love it. That's got to be the title too. How to write long-winded.
I love it.
and the reason that title, I was loving it, is because my sister-in-law, who recruited me to join the Women Speakers Association in 2020, recruited me, and I said, Janet, I'm gonna join, but listen to me, I'm not gonna speak. I'm not gonna, I'm this happy retiree, quiet, time with family. I had no intention of engaging with the public like I'm doing today. And so now she says, okay, you're the one who said, I'm not gonna speak, and now you won't shut up.
So we have a new workshop coming up called Let Your Wind Be Long by Zan
Ooh.
Johns. We're
Oh,
looking forward
let your
to it.
wind be long.
Wonderful.
We'll have to get it set
Oh
up.
my gosh. That's
I think
fabulous.
that'd be good in
Thank you,
January.
Annette.
All right. Well,
If
thank
you
you
give
all.
people a good reason to shine, they will shine.
Oh,
You
yes.
just
I
tell
love
them
that.
they should shine. They should
They should
believe in
shine.
themselves.
Well, let's give Zan a hand for coming out and doing this today.
Thank you all. My heart is full.
Next month we have Aruna Gurumurthy. She's not a garden sister yet. So we'll be welcoming her next month. Thank you, Zan.
Hi,
Thank you,
Karen. I saw
everybody.
you come in later.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here,
Wonderful day.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa, for hosting, as always. And Susan and Nancy for having me. Annette, I hope I shared light, brightness, and I love that. Might be a poem in that.
It probably is.
Yes. Have a wonderful week, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.